Everybody agrees that the situation in the Ukraine, where they're under terrible attack from a wicked and cruel regime, is dreadful. I received a WhatsApp from an old friend of mine, which upset me. And the reason it upset me was that this chap, who I've known for many, many years, who's a good fellow who thinks about the world in serious thoughts, he asked me a question. He said, why did Israel not condemn Russia and did not support Ukraine until last night at the UN meeting? And I felt a pang of shame, actually, that this fellow who knows that I live in Israel, who knows that I'm Jewish, should challenge me that it took so long, number of days, 5 days, however many days it was, for the Jewish state to stand firm with Ukraine. I was further upset tonight when at a shiva house, at the end of the tefillot, I started to say Tehillim, as instructed by the chief rabbis of Israel. I started to say Tehillim for the situation in Ukraine. And somebody there said, why are you saying Tehillim for them Ukrainians? Did you know how many Jews they killed in the war? And just to keep him quiet, really, so that I could carry on, I said, well, I'm saying it for the Jews. And this was wrong, because I wasn't just saying it for the Jews. We need to be moral. We need to be at the right end of history. How many times have we as Jews suffered from being at the wrong end of history? People who weren't our people, well, doesn't matter, it's only the Jews. If we have the same attitude, doesn't matter, only the Ukrainians, then we're no better than they are. We are meant to be Or LaGoyim. We are meant to be a light unto the nations. Right at the beginning of our history, Avraham Avinu was told, V'nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot hadama, and through you will be blessed all the families of the world. The whole people, the whole world will be blessed through you. And what does that mean? It means that our behavior, us, the children of Abraham, our behavior has to be of such a high moral standard that the rest of the world will look at us and say, wow, that is the way to behave. That is how I want to be, because being blessed through this people means to emulate them, because they are on such a high level. And that is our job in this world, is to be Or LaGoyim, to be a light unto the nations, not to wait until everybody else has condemned the situation and jump on whichever side we seem to be positive for us, is going to work out better for us. It doesn't matter. We have to take the moral high ground. We have to be ethical. We are ethical monotheists, not just monotheists. The ethical is very important. If we want to fulfill our role as Or LaGoyim, if we want the rest of the world to look up to us and be proud of what we've done and to look and to emulate us, and if we want to fulfill that role of Avraham Avinu, that is v'nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot hadama, then we need to step up. I'm going to suggest to you, therefore, that all of you, all of us, do something to help the situation in Ukraine. My son was saying to me yesterday that he's going to go over to Poland and drive people across the border. I don't know whether he'll manage to do it, but at least I was proud of him. At least he wants to try and do something and not just sit on his backside. Those of us that aren't able to do something like that, we can perhaps donate. Here in Israel, I received a WhatsApp which was for the United Hatzalah appeal, which is for Ukraine. You can donate to that. There are plenty charities. Here in Netanya, somebody is arranging a drop-off point for food and clothing for refugees. and toys and things like that. There's no shortage of ways that you can practically help the people suffering terribly in Ukraine. Jew or non-Jew makes no difference. We are all created b'tselem Elohim. So let's not be so inward looking. Let's fulfill our role of being Or LaGoyim, and let's empathize, sympathize, and do something positive to help the people who are suffering so terribly out in Ukraine and Eastern Europe in general. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, and I hope that we can have better news for a peaceful Shabbat for everybody across the world.